Hello from Flagstaff. On this adventure we are going to be camping in Flagstaff and then heading down to Sedona and trying to find some camping in the Red Rocks. So in my last video where we were driving on Route 66, I talked to a park ranger at Petrified Forest National Park, and I don't know if he said the Flagstaff area, northern Arizona as a whole, or just the specific national monument that we were talking about. Either way, something in this area has the largest collection of ponderosa pines in the world, and I'm pretty sure that I'm camping under a bunch of them right now. It really is unlike anything else I've ever seen. Our time in Flagstaff has been interesting. So on one hand, there are a ton of van lifers. Just about any plaza, shopping center, commercial, business, park, you will see a ton of different rigs. So on one hand, as soon as we pulled in, we felt right at home. On the other hand, though, there are a ton of no camping overnight, no parking overnight, no camping here signs everywhere. It's just really confusing. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if, the city just doesn't want people parking and, coming out here to travel and live in this sort of alternative lifestyle. I don't know if people abused it in the past and so they're kind of cracking down on it. There's a platform that I use to find free campsites, and I got so excited when I saw the map of Flagstaff because there were a ton of little dots saying that there was free camping everywhere. And when I started clicking on them to actually read about them to see, can our rig get to them? Does it have service? How far away is it from town? Because we do want to visit the downtown area. So many of them said, hey, as of summer 2025, as of fall 2025, there's actually a camping ban on this national forest, or in this, park that people used to camp at, on this Forest Service road that used to have a ton of pull-offs. It's now closed to camping. So that was really stressful, because at first I saw the map and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a ton of camping, we'll figure it out later. And then the night before last, it was about 7 o'clock and we drove all the way out to this campsite, found out that we couldn't camp there, drove to another campsite. It was completely packed. I'm assuming because as there are less campsites, more people are filling up the campgrounds that are available. So we were just hungry and tired, and we ended up just stopping at a Cracker Barrel. Thank goodness to Cracker Barrel for allowing overnight parking, because that was really helpful in our time of need. But we eventually did find this campsite, and it's pretty beautiful. Very dusty though. I'm assuming that that's because the entirety of the West, it seems like, has been really dry these last few months. But anyway, I am just excited to make this little video of my little adventure, get started on cooking, and just kind of show you around. Before I go to bed, I am going to prep some overnight oats for tomorrow morning. Alright, see you tomorrow. Alright, so we just finished cleaning up our campsite. We are now headed to Planet Fitness to shower, and then we'll check out the town. Oh my goodness, I feel like a new person. Flagstaff is really cool because, okay, I don't know the technical terminology, but basically they are registered as a dark sky city or a dark sky friendly city, which means that their city restricts different types of business signage, and the types of streetlights that they use have to be conducive to allowing for the night sky to appear and to reduce light pollution. So at night it's actually really beautiful out here, and it's really surprising that a town or city of over 70,000 people is still able to have such a low light pollution that you can see all of the stars. There is only one other spot that I found just in my personal travels where you could actually see the Milky Way, and it was just gorgeous, and that was genuinely in the middle of nowhere. I think the nearest town was like 10,000 people, and it was a good 10 miles away, so very interesting. I don't know how this camera works in terms of nighttime photography, so I don't think I'll be able to do the sky justice for you, but I will try anyway, and I've gotten about as good as I can on my iPhone, so if I take any pictures, I'll include those too. But beside that, we are just checking out the downtown, and I'm really hungry, so let's go.
Recommended North Star. I wish I'd fucked up my green beans with potato salad. Flagstaff.
I don't know what came over me, but I am so tired. Flagstaff was a ton of fun. Lumberyard Brewing was a ton of fun. That place was actually recommended to us by the park ranger that we chatted with at Petrified Forest National Park. He specifically said to get their red ale, which we did, and it was so good. And just walking around Flagstaff was such a fun experience. It's such a cute little city. I'm definitely surprised that it doesn't have a larger population, because I feel like it has a really vibrant downtown, it has a really cool university, it has a ski resort, it's very close to a national park. It kind of seems perfect in all of those ways, but it still doesn't have that big of a population. So anyway, all that being said, we are currently hanging out in a Walmart parking lot. So I checked with one of the Walmart staff if we could park here overnight, and she said that the parking lot is not technically owned by Walmart, but rather the city of Flagstaff, and so it's kind of a park at your own risk kind of situation. And I asked her if, could I get a ticket, or like what would happen if, what is the risk? And she said that somebody would just come and knock on the door and tell us that we would have to move. We wouldn't get a ticket or anything, but if we weren't in our vehicles, we could be at risk of getting towed. So once we got settled in here, we looked out the window and we saw a security vehicle. So we're just kind of debating what to do, because on one hand, I don't want to get woken up in the middle of the night. I'm already so tired and have to move. I don't know where else we would go. But at the same time, there are a ton of other campers and vehicles that have like the window covers up and everything like that. So I don't know what to do. I think we're just kind of playing it by ear, and hopefully if we see security acting on, trying to get people to move, we will see that before we get the knock. So anyway, gonna get ready for bed, and I will see you guys tomorrow. So we did in fact get the knock. We ended up changing locations to a Cracker Barrel. Thankfully, the person who knocked on our door was very nice and offered some alternatives. But we knew that Cracker Barrel would allow you to camp overnight here as long as you patron their business. So that's what we did, and now we are heading out. So we've just been hanging out in the Walmart parking lot. We went and grabbed a few groceries this morning, and we were just getting some work done. Figured we'd be here for about an hour or two before we actually got our day started, just doing some work. And somebody walked. You can see the sidewalk right here. They were walking. We had this window open just like it is now. Even the blind's open and the window is open as well. And we're both sitting right here and we see this person walking. He walked by and literally tried to open our door. Thankfully it was locked, but like definitely still a little freaked out by it. All right, we saw everything we wanted to see in Flagstaff, so we are now on our way to Sedona. Today's lunch is Chef Boyardee straight out of the can.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's like watery. Here's watery looking.
Yeah, that's how it always is. There's like a bunch of soup left over usually.
No, but like it doesn't look like salt. It looks like water on the top of mine. Cheers. Get a napkin.
I spilled?
Yep, right there. Maybe this would help. So it doesn't stain one pasta sauce on our console. What are you glaring at me for?
You're being mean.
I am not. All I was doing was pointing out that you spilled. You didn't even know you did.
We are at the most gorgeous campground in Sedona. We typically try to find free campsites just to save some money, but a lot of the campgrounds in the general Sedona area were either really hard to get to, had a lot of really rugged terrain you had to pass, and were very sparse. So we didn't really want to test our luck. Once we drove past this and saw a sign that said vacancy, we were like, oh my goodness, yes, we will just go there. We have beautiful views of the canyons and the creek, which I will show you soon. It's $30 a night, which I think is totally worth it to just be able to unwind and actually have a designated campsite for the night. There's no fire ban today, so we get to have a campfire and we're gonna do some campfire cooking. Jack is chopping up wood right now and I will show you how we do all of that.
I better not miss. Delete that now. That's better. Record me.
The only drawback of this site, I would say, is that you're right on the highway and they are doing some road work, but other than that, it's literally perfect. We're doing chicken, beans, and rice, kind of, sort of a burrito bowl, if you will, but we don't have very many ingredients. We're just trying to be a little simple tonight. I think for simplicity, I'm just gonna cook the rice and beans in one pot and mix them all together, and it'll be a rice and bean single side, so. And then Jack's just gonna cook the chicken straight over the fire. Thankfully they had the grates, so we didn't have to use our cast iron and get that dirty. When this is the kind of life you live, this is sometimes what you have to do. And then I'll just pour this in the pot once the rice is done cooking.
Cheers. That's pretty good. Thanks, good.
I do too.
Food's always good cooked over the campfire.
It is. You did a very good job on the chicken.
You did a very good job on the rice and beans.
Oh, thank you. Alright, we just finished up eating dinner. We're just gonna hang around the campfire, what's left of it at least, and probably head to bed, so I'll see you tomorrow. It's the next day and I just came outside my camper and saw this gorgeous view and I just had to show you. I just got ready for the day. We are gonna head into town, into the town of Sedona. I'm so sad to be leaving this campsite. It has been gorgeous. I wish I could stay here my whole life. And the plants here are absolutely gorgeous. They have wild rose, wild blackberry, wild raspberry. Oh, the whole air just smells like pine and flowers and like a honey or a syrup. It's so sweet and rich. I love it here. So we decided to do a hike in the Oak Creek Canyon of Sedona, and it's absolutely gorgeous, but honestly we got about a third mile up the trail. It was really hard to even film because I needed my hiking poles for so much of it, and when we got to about at 1/3 mile of the trail, there was a very big snake that was red, black, and yellow. I'm curious to look it up once we get back to our camper, but it rattled at us and that kind of frazzled us. And between that, the sun was not something we expected. When we checked the forecast last night, it was definitely going to be a little cooler and more cloud coverage. It is not that, and there's 2,000 feet of elevation. We're going somewhere up there. So we were like, you know what? We have hit a half mile. By the time we get back, we'll have done a mile hike. Definitely want to see some red rocks of Sedona, so I think we're going to be turning back now and learning to prepare next time. I don't want to push ourselves and get stuck up somewhere that we don't want to be, or just be miserable for the sake of saying I did something. So we're heading back, and hopefully on the downhill I'll be able to share more of this gorgeous trail. One of my less favorite parts of van life is when you're on a schedule and you're trying to be at a certain place by a certain time. You know, there's so much beautiful nature all around, and you really gotta pack a tight schedule in order to make some of your deadlines and meet some of your commitments. So you don't get to finish your trail or spend as much time in a campsite as you might like. But at the end of the day, I don't know that I would be here at all if it weren't for moving into my truck camper. So there's give and take. All right, we just got back to the car and we are heading onward.